You guys are gonna love this one. I'm sure you guys are gonna have a lot of fun with this one. I want to talk some Richardson Hitchins because we know Hitchens. He does a lot of this. Like damn near all the New Yorkers do. I love my New Yorkers. Like my mom was born in New York, but my mom is from Manhattan. So you could say I got New York roots. I'm not a New Yorker. I'm from South Florida, but a lot of New Yorkers they just talk, right? And he's no different. He represents what a New York fighter is. He talks a lot. And some people love it. Some people hate it. He's a polarizer figure in the 140 division. And he's called out a lot of guys over the last couple of months. He's talked shit about Brian Norman Jr. He's talked shit about, Matias, all these kind of things. He's been, Frank Martin is another one. He's been linked to a lot of big fights, but now, and we'll go to screen share, as it's been reported, as you guys see on the screen now, it has been reported that Richardson Hitchins, he is going to fight, or he is at least in negotiations. It's not finalized, but he is in negotiations to fight none other than Oscar Duarte. Now, and by the way, this will be on the Ryan Garcia Barrios undercard if the fight does happen. Now, for me, look, to put my manager's hat on, I don't think it's a bad situation for Hitchens. I feel like Ryan Garcia and Barrios is gonna do numbers because of Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia has a fan base. Ryan Garcia attracts a lot of people that don't normally watch boxing to boxing, and so I think the event is going to do well with or without Hitchens on the undercard. But to have Hitchens on the undercard and defend his belt, if he can go on there and look good, it's going to raise his value. So from a managerial standpoint, I don't think it's a bad thing. But from a competitive standpoint, this is not a good look for Hitchens because as Devin Haney went off on him recently because Devin Haney said pretty much, look, and I quote. Hold on. You call out everybody to fight nobody. You called me out, Keyshawn, T.O., Super Matias, Gary Anton Russell, Brian Norman Jr., Dwayne Ortiz, Frank Martin. You just be clout chasing, bro. Get in the field, fuck boy. Then those are Devin Haney's words, not mine. You understand? So, and to Devin's point, he has called out all those guys. He's called out Keyshawn. They were just going back and forth. Him and T.O. literally had the same manager. I don't know how Hitchens and T.O. didn't get a fight done when they had the same manager. That's kind of fishy to me. As far as Matias, hold on, let me play this for you guys. As far as Matias, right? This is what he said, Matias.
Champions, who you want first? Like, how do you think you line up against Haney? How do you line against Rowley? How do you line against Mattel? How do you line against T.O.?
I will fight any one of them guys. Like I said before, besides fighting for the IBF with Subriel Matias. I feel like Subriel Matias is a tough test for any fighter. If it was another champion that wasn't as a force to be reckoned with like Subriel Matias, I probably would have took a risk and fight for the IBF. But because I know the chances entering that ring, I would want to be at my best. So I feel like but besides him, if I got the first opportunity I get at any other belt, it'll be a great.
And the thing is, Richardson Hitchens, he held true to his word because as soon as Matias lost that belt, he fought Liam Parr, right? So going back to screen share because I had to play that for you guys just to refresh memory. And yeah, he talked, Gary Anton Russell. He told Gary Anton Russell to get his name up. He talked shit about Brian Norman Jr. For Hitchens to go through that whole gauntlet of people he called out and not get any one of those fights done to fight Duarte, it's a terrible look. And people are going to criticize him for it. It is what it is. But I don't hate the Duarte fight. If anything, I like the Duarte fight because if you look at what's given Hitchens problems in the past, think about the Gustavo Lemos fight. What is Gustavo Lemos? Gustavo Lemos was a tough, rugged guy who got in his chest and brought the fight right to him. And Hitchens barely squeaked out a victory against Lemos. A lot of people thought he lost against Lemos. So for me, I'm looking at this fight as a potential fight where Hitchens may have to exercise some demons and some ghosts of the past against Duarte. Duarte is physical. He's strong. He's not no bum. Like he fought Ryan Garcia, lost to him, but then he came back. He beat Kenneth Simmons Jr., who was probably one of the better 140 pounders in the division. So this is a real fight. It's not a bad fight. It's just not. It's not what the other fights are in terms of profile, in terms of it being a meaningful fight for Hitchens. But I don't hate the Duarte fight. If anything, I think the Duarte fight is I'm cool with it. Like I'm actually cool with it. You know, people are gonna call him a duck, and you know I'm not mad at them for it because you know I've been probably one of the most vocal. Even now with Matias getting his ass whooped, I still don't think he would fight Subriel Matias. I think deep down Hitchens just knows like that's a terrible style for him. He saw what happened with Lemos, and he don't want to deal with what Matias brings to the table for 12 rounds. You know, and mind you, Hitchens is a big 140 pounder. He no small 140 pounder. He's a big 140 pounder. He's gonna be a welterweight really, really soon. So, do I like the Duarte fight? Actually, yeah, I would damn near say I love the Duarte fight because I think Duarte can do some of the same things Lemos did, and I think it's an opportunity for Hitchens to exercise some of the things that gave him some problems when he fought Lemos. Like what they're doing with Hitchens is what I wanted to see with Shushu before he got this title shot. I wanted to see Shushu in there with another like counter puncher, another long rangy fighter who can slow the pace down on him and kind of like what Segawa did. But he didn't do that. And now I feel like, you know, he's fighting Castro, who he might just be more talented than, so it might not matter. And Castro always finds a way to lose on the biggest level, even when he has his best performances. So it might not matter. But from a preparation standpoint, I do think it's not the smartest thing to do. Hitchens is fighting Duarte, who's not a slouch, who's coming off of a big win, who just beat Kenneth Sims Jr. And if Hitchens is not on his P's and Q's, if he overlooks him, he might lose this fight. He might even get knocked out. So I'm okay with this fight. What do you guys think? My man A-Buck says Matias not having a belt anymore is even less of a reason for people to fight him now. I feel like a lot of these fighters, they after seeing how Dalton Smith was able to light him up with the right hand, it might actually give him some more confidence. But I would be led to believe that with him not being a big money fighter, like you're not going to get a lot of money fighting Matias, unless of course, you know, Fresh Productions overpays for a purse bid. But in a non-title situation, I don't think you get a lot of money fighting Subriel Matias. So yeah, I think honestly, I think Hitchens and a lot of guys at 140 to themselves behind closed doors, they're thanking Dalton Smith. They're like, phew, we don't got to worry about that guy no more. Africa is one of the coolest guys I met. When he's healthy, he's problems for anyone. I think the IBF 10-pound clause was killing him for the longest. When he fought Paro, he invested a lot in the camp. I'll say this, man. I mean, I got to see both sides of Hitchens when I met him. The one time I met him, I got to see the pissed off Hitchens going into the fight, who was going off me for things I said in the video, and I got to see the cool side of Hitchens. And I think he's a cool guy. We have a mutual friend in Pistol Pete Dobson, so. You know, I know things about Hitchens through Pete, and he's a good dude. I've heard nothing but great things about him from Pete and everyone I know in the New York fight scene that's been around him. But as far as the IBF 10-pound clause killing him, I mean, look, at some point, I think this might be his last fight at 40. He's huge for 140. I have no idea how he makes 140, to be honest with you. This might be it, because if he goes in there against Duarte, it's very possible, even if he wins, this might be, even if he wins, a repeat of the Lemos fight, because Duarte got that same style, and I would even argue that Duarte is a much more physically imposing, physically strong fighter than Lemos, and he's won at a higher level, you know. And like my man right here said, Duarte can punch. Hitchens better take him. Yeah, I agree. He better take him seriously, and it's gonna really test the Richardson Hitchins jab. I've gone on. I've always given Richardson Hitchins his flowers. I've always said, look, man, I think he got one of the top 5 best jabs in boxing. He's really only a world champion, and he's only the main reason he's looked at and why he is an elite fighter is because of that jab. Other parts of his game have improved to an above average standpoint, but to me, what makes him truly elite is his boxing IQ and his jab. But it's going to be tested in this fight because Duarte may not have the jab Hitchens has, right? But Duarte can get underneath shots, and he's one of them guys. You're going to hit him, and he's going to keep coming forward over and over again. He can take a punch very, very well. So I'm looking forward to seeing how Hitchens deals with that style. If this fight goes ahead, it actually does get made, you know. But I think, honestly, I think he should go to 47 after this fight. I know there might be a chance to unify with Dalton. I would say, for his sake, and for him not being so weight drained, go to 47 after this fight. Like, I would love to see a much more fresher, stronger Richardson Hitchens. When Africa met Matias, he did say in person the 10-pound clause would hurt him, but in a unification, definitely with no clause, he would fight Matias for sure. He would listen. I hear you, and I saw what he said. But whenever he talked about making certain fights happen, he was never really adamant about making Matias. He may have mentioned that once or twice here and there, but Matias was never a guy that was high on his priority list when he was a mandatory, when he was a contender, and when he was a champion. So I just think that's not a fight he ever really wanted, to be honest. My man Rap Machine said Duarte is gonna absolutely run over Richardson Hitchens. We shall see, man. It's going to be a really good test of his durability and his jab and his focus as a fighter. I'm actually hoping the fight gets done. A lot of people are saying, Hitchens is a duck. He's ducking Devin. He's ducking Brian Norman Jr. He's ducking Tio. He's ducking Gary Anton Russell. I don't even care about that. To me, this is a good fight. If Hitchens was fighting, let's go to the rankings real quick. If Hitchens was fighting, let me see. If Hitchens was fighting a guy like, let me see. Hold on. Let me go to these rankings right quick. We go to 140. Like if Hitchens was if he fought, I don't know, Sean McComb or Pierce O'Leary or this guy who I never heard of, Hovannes Bachkov. If he fought like them kind of guys, if he fought, even if he fought a guy like Adam Azim, then I would have something to say. If he fought Henry Cedeno, if he fought one of them kind of guys, and some of those guys are good fighters, but you know what I mean? If he fought one of those guys, then I would say, yo, you are just ducking the whole weight class. But he's fighting Duarte, and Duarte is coming off of a win against one of the better 140 pounders out there, and Kenneth Sims Jr. Kenneth Sims Jr. guys was on an 8 or 9 fight win streak before Duarte upset him. And Duarte's been in there at Ryan Garcia, so he's a good fighter. All right, last comment, and then I'm gonna get to my next talking point. I saw in the media that Adam Azim is pushing for a near future fight with Hitchens. I wonder if Hitchens will stay at 140 for that fight. No, that fight's not going to happen. Adam Azim doesn't bring enough money to the table. He's not presently a mandatory challenger. Hitchens can't make 140. So I think Azim, more than likely, I think Azim is probably going to fight for a vacant title in the future. Ben Shalom and Boxer will probably do that. Right now, he's just attached his knee to Hitchens to get himself some clout. That fight's not happening. Azim could fight for a vacant world title, and if he wins a vacant world title, I think Dalton Smith and Adam Azim becomes one of the biggest fights to make in the 140 division. And really, probably one of the biggest fights in British boxing. Hot take alert: Fresh Promotions and Eddie Hearn should collaborate in good faith with WBO order